said you can use Google Hangouts. And anyway, so hello, Sister Cormer. So the Cinnamon, and this is Samantha. And we are going to, so I read over the, let me pull it back up here, the antibiotic little quiz thing. Okay. Now let me go back over here and go to content. Actually, I think I printed it off too somewhere around here. I printed it off. I thought I was going to need to work on it at work. I don't know where it is. I have papers all over. I was silly and I went back to school and just went full blown, and I have stuff all over.
Oh man.
Okay. Case studies.
So I read through and were you able to read the wire?
Okay. Oh shoot. So what did you think about it?
I read through it, and the only issue I had was I couldn't open that link, or it says www.wire.com, so I wasn't able to see the article that she had.
Okay.
But
so that was kind of important. It was really convincing. Here, I think I have it up. Let me see if I still have it up. No, that one's not it. Let me look in history and see if I can pull it up that way. Where's history at?
Yeah, so I couldn't find, I couldn't open that link for some reason, so I just did my own research too, and I found this one, and it's on the sources, the U.S. National Library of Medicine, National Institutes of Health, and it's just talking about like antibiotics in the human gut microbiome, and how speaking of, what is it called? Antibiotic. When you take it, it kind of disrupts the bacteria in your stomach. So that's why they say there's negative effects, because while you're fighting your infection, you're also killing some of your good bacteria. So it kind of disrupts the homeostasis in your intestines. So I also found an interesting thing that was saying that it's good to take probiotics with your antibiotics. And the reason they don't advertise for that is because then it's saying, hey, this is bad for you, so take something else, which would cause people not to take antibiotics, which affects like money and everything in the medical business.
Very good. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can pull it up. Let me try this one. Oh. Okay, so I did that. I was going to see if I could pull it up really quick, because then I could flip my screen over here. So the thing about it, do you have the part 1 instructions attached here? So let's go to part 1. So what part did you read?
I just had, I think, a part 1. I don't think I even had a part 2. Do you have a part 2?
Yeah, there was a, okay, no, I'm sorry, I'm lying. Part 1, instructions, the human, I'm looking for the, okay, the too clean.
Let's see. Yeah, are we too clean? And then it has 4 questions at the end that we answer.
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking for. Okay, so so you're going to be our secretary today. I promise to do it next time.
No worries, I'll type.
Okay, so the thing about with the link, if you go to it, and I'm gonna, if you click on it, so do control, hit your control button, and then left click it.
Okay, control.
And then it will say, do you want to open it anyways?
Yeah, because I'm doing that, and it says it can't open off Microsoft Word.
Okay, well darn. Okay, so the thing about this, let me see if I can pull this over. About this article is that it makes it sound like it's really legit. So I'm going to see if I can bring my screen over here so you can, let me turn off some of my light here. Anyways, okay, you can kind of see part of it, I guess. So I have this, bring my little mousey over here. So it talks about the Atlas of the Human thing. So I'll read it to you really quick.
Yeah.
There's my mouse. Okay, because you have to kind of read it to get the whole gist of what's going on. It says, if some twisted genius vaporized all 10 trillion cells in your body, along with all the hair and fingernails, which, hello, that's all the cells, and tissue they create, it would not leave empty space behind. The body-shaped cloud made of bacteria and viruses and other forms stowed away would hover briefly in the air. The cloud would outline your skin, delineate your lungs, trace your digestive tract, and you might be gone for good, but your shadow biosphere would remain. So he goes on and he says, we got a glimpse of our tiny little tenants. We know them collectively as the microbiome. In the late 17th century, he talks about how he discovered bacteria and saw it moving around. And then they discovered the sequences of DNA. And then it says, we're just beginning to learn the effects of our microbiome that it has on us. But it's clear that they can be profound. Certain species help digest food and synthesize vitamins. Others guide the the immune system. Medical research have linked obesity, heart disease, and anxiety to properties of the microbiome. In many cases, it is not the individual species that seem to matter, but the richness of the ecosystem. Just as the health of a forest depends on diversity, our own health appears to benefit from the presence of a wide range of uninvited guests, many of which co-evolved with us. See below for a guided tour of your own personal ecosystem from the top of your head to the depth of your gut. There's a jungle in and on you. Right? So they have this little chart about how they took one baby. This is where I think some of the flaws are. One baby, and they tracked the bacteria growth in the baby's gut for the first 15 months of life. And then but it's just only one baby. So then it goes on with the brain. The brain is walled off from the microbiome by a series of biochemical moats and ramparts known as the blood-brain barrier. But there are indirect ways for microbes to change our minds. Bacteria in the gut release compounds into the bloodstream that pass through the blood-brain barrier. Gut microbes can also trigger immunological and hormonal signals that penetrate the brain barrier. Together, these signals have been shown to influence hunger. One study, this is where I found it interesting, one study of mice found that changing the gut bacteria even affected personality. But it didn't really give any reference point to that study. Then it says, think about the face. Think about mountains climbing from sea level to the summit. It takes you through several ecosystems, which is like vegetation with animals adapted to a particular condition. Our skin, too, has many zones, each fostering a different balance of species. The face alone has several of these microclimates. The forehead and creases along the nose are greasy, and for instance, so bacteria there are adapted to feeding on oils. Microbes in the other areas thrive on sweat, perhaps extracting nitrogen from it. Then it goes over here to the ears, and it talks about 11 species. But what I think is found interesting, they base their whole result on, again, one study of one 8-year-old boy. Microbes will worm their way into any place they can. In July, a team based the Transitional Geometrics Research Institute in Flagstaff, Arizona, published an investigation of inside the ear based on samples from an 8-year-old boy with chronic ear infection. The researchers found 11 species of bacteria, many of them new to science. They also were able to trace the origin of the bacteria, not to a playground or a bathroom, but to the boy's own insides. The germs had migrated from his adenoids, possibly by way of the eustachian tube. So maybe for that one kid they might have, but they try to make a generalization about all of the ears. Yeah. Then it talks about our mouth, talks about 500 different species, and then half of which they had 3 subjects right here that they based all their studies on, literally just 3 people. And so they decided that because of it, we should have, I don't know, some type of connection to. So those questions will make more sense. So then it just keeps going down, but it will bring up interesting points. It sounds really like we should never have, this is one person right here, 7-day course of antibiotics of one person and what happened in their gut. So yeah, they had a great variety, killed off, but they're saying that it took 24 months to even get three strains back.
Wow.
But it doesn't, you know, like it sounds really scary, but they don't have a whole lot of true data to support all these claims that they're making. They're just, this is one person right here that they did a study on, one person.
Yeah, I feel like if they're gonna make a statement about a population, they need to do at least like 100 people or 200 people.
Yeah, you know, like a huge amount, or 800 different people of these things. This one, they did a study in the obesity with the flora of mice, and they did like 500, and the average, let's see, so if I can find it, becomes less diverse. Okay, so it doesn't really tell us, but it just kind of takes the thing that says, oh, we're fat because we're eating fat foods with fat microbes. Anyway, so it just kind of has, it's just interesting. And then you've got, it sounds University of Free, Amsterdam Antibiotics. You got the National Laboratory, Fat Peter Trovag, Washington University in St. Louis. So I don't know, you got these Baby Ruth E. Lai, sources, Baby Cornell University, Mouth, this Zara. I don't know. Anyway, some of it doesn't sound like it's just suspicious sounding.
Yeah, they're all different people, but there's only one for each generalization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just thought so that was kind of it. So this story, right, is that this girl goes and reads this thing, and then she's trying to like, oh my gosh, did I get Crohn's because I took some antibiotics? And so that's what I was getting from the questions. So I don't know the question. I've already lost the question. I don't even know where my sheet is. Okay, so what's question number 1? Because I've already lost that.
It says, look at the figure that Amelia found in Wired pertaining to antibiotics and the microbiota. She spelled that wrong. What conclusions can you draw from this figure? Okay. So I think it's safe to say that we think, like, as far as conclusions, that they didn't really evaluate enough people to have these generalized conclusions about a population.
Yeah, like it was, let me see if I can formulate my thoughts here. Look for the figure found where pertaining to antibiotics. What conclusions can you draw from this figure? Do you think they mean like the article, the way it's presented? Not the figure that Amelia found in antibiotics and microbia. What conclusions can you draw from this figure? So my conclusion is that they're trying really hard to convince us that antibiotics are just like life-threatening awful.
Okay.
And that we can draw from that it's not reliable information because it's only a study of one person. Their study lacks substance and all that good probability stuff, and there's no mean, no standard deviation, there's nothing. There's no statistics to base their information on. I don't know. Does that sound about right? What do you think?
I'm just trying to put it into words.
I know, that's the hard part.
Yeah. Let me read what I wrote.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what I have so far. We think that there wasn't enough people surveyed to draw conclusions about a population. They only surveyed one person for each conclusion. They are trying very hard to convince us that antibiotics are life-threatening and awful. However, it is not reliable information because it is a study of one person. The studies lack statistics. There is no mean to represent an average number of bacteria in a person's gut after taking the antibiotic, and no standard deviation to represent the differences in each person's gut compared to the mean, or the average.
Well, that's good.
Does that make sense? Or should I
Yeah.
add more? It's about 5 sentences.
I don't know, what else could we add to that?
We talk about a bias because it seems like whoever is writing this has a very
there is a bias there. There's definitely a bias that's trying really hard to, what's that? A convincing argument, argumentative almost.
Yeah.
Like antibiotics are horrible and terrible. And I have like, you know, I get it because I'm a nurse and I see so much of it that I think, oh, you're crap all the time for people that they probably don't even need.
Oh, cool. I just applied to the BYUI nursing program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping to go back and get my BSN. So,
cool.
And then hopefully who knows, my goal is to get through one test, one class, to get through one quarter, to get through one degree, and I'll just see how I look from there. So, But we give out antibiotics all the time. I don't know. I have personal experience with this, that things were triggered by an antibiotic that was overkill. Mm-hmm. And then I did probiotics, and then the gastroenterologist actually gave me a different antibiotic because I had overgrowth from the probiotics. So I had to it was like this huge balance thing going back and forth, trying to balance it. And then discovered that there was a bunch of allergies that, I don't know. Anyway, so gluten, when I don't eat gluten, I do so much better. Oh. And I think I always knew there was stuff, but that just kind of helped trigger it, made it a little bit more obvious, and made us investigate with like scopes and stuff. So, I mean, there's probably in my reading. So I'll let you put in whatever you want there to add that there's some bias.
Okay. Should I say, because I said there's a bias that is arguing against antibiotics. Should I say, like, to be more valid, they should have included both sides of like why?
Yeah. I think they could have included a little bit like, it does do this. There are cases where it is beneficial, but for the general population, antibiotics probably aren't the best all the time.
Okay.
Because you can't refute the fact that not Americans, but people live longer compared to 100 years ago. And a lot of that has to do with medication and medicine and the advance that we've made. So can't be all that bad, you know. People were dying turn of the century before penicillin came out.
That's true. Okay.
So, all right.
Let's see. Given the fact that Amelia found this article in an online pop culture science magazine, do you believe the data presented? Do some research on the impact of antibiotics on the human microbiome using peer-reviewed literature. Summarize your findings from at least 3 articles in a short paragraph.
Okay.
So I found that one earlier I was kind of talking about.
Okay, so let's address it, and then we'll do each article. So let's do number 1. Okay. Or like just do like A, B, C, and D or something. So A part of question 2 is, do we believe the data presented?
Not because we were kind of talking about how that needs more people, I think, to be.
Yeah, I think it was very lacking substance. So do I believe it? No, but it is a very captivating and intriguing article. When I first read it, I was like, really? I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Why would that be? It didn't seem to, it just made more questions in my head that didn't answer. And I don't know, just the limited amount and the lack of studies cited, like where they got their information, what kind of, I don't know. I just felt like it was like Simon says, only Simon didn't say kind of thing. Like it's really tricky. You could easily get sucked in and not pay attention to all the little clues that said this is not the most reliable source of information.
Yeah. So we think that the article lacked valid substance, but was intriguing to the reader. How should I summarize what we just said? Like,
It was intriguing, but lacked validation. There were subtle indications. There were subtle indications throughout the article that indicated this was not a reliable source. And then, let me see if I can pull it back up. So first off, it's from the Carl Zimmer magazine.
Yeah.
We don't even know what that is. That doesn't even sound medical. And the fact that it's called Wired, the Wired Atlas. The study of the first 15 months of life summarizes the general population based on one child, the year, one child. The fact that it says sources, baby, Ruth E. Lai. So baby, colon, Ruth, capital E dot L-E-Y.
okay,
I don't know, that just sounded, sources, baby, Ruth E. Lee, I don't know, maybe it's Lee, L-E-Y. Lay, Ruthie Lay. I don't know. It just seems like it's lacking specifics and details of citing studies and statistics.
Let's see. What do you think of this so far? We think that the article lacked valid substance, but it was intriguing to the reader. There were subtle indications through the article that indicated that this was not a reliable source. There were not enough people surveyed to make a statement about a population. It is from a magazine that is unknown and not medical related. The sources were very suspicious. It seemed as though they tested a couple random people and their names almost seemed made up.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. So that'll be part A then, I guess.
Okay, so there's part A. So let's talk about the articles that we've done.
Okay.
So, okay, let's do yours first.
Okay, so should I just like copy and paste my link so it's like my citation and then we can talk about it? And then if you want to email me the link you had,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
let's do that.
Okay, you put that in and I will email you. I do have the information. Let me just pull up my hair.
Okay, so mine, let's see, I gotta pull it up. Mine was from the U.S. National Library of Medicine, and it talked about antibiotics in the human gut, and it basically talked about how when you take an antibiotic, although there are benefits, it disrupts your microbiome. And let's see, how actually the more you take antibiotics, that the bacteria in you can form kind of resilience or resistance. And
right, that's true.
This article seemed to kind of be more against it, but then it countered it and talked about the benefits of taking a probiotic with your antibiotics, so that way it does help you.
So it validated both sides and put it in perspective.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. So this article.
You do that and I'll type in my information on mine.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, shit, I'm gonna... And I don't even know if these were really good sources that I did.
All right. Did you find more than one? Because this was the only one I found at first.
I did 2, but one of them's pretty crappy.
Oh, no worries. We can make it work. Let's see.
Oh my gosh, this thing is very long. It's one of those super long.
No. Let's see.
Okay, so I looked at this. I'm going to send this to you. Let me know if you get it or not. So one of them is called Antibiotic and the Use and Development of Crohn's Disease. And what I liked about it is that it was a proper study. Like, it has a abstract and it tells about the methods that they used, and they talked about how they did 1,460 controls, and they had Crohn's disease, and they had a probability of less than 0.001 or greater than, I guess, greater than 0.001. It had just all this, and then it had a conclusion, and then it went to the basis of the study that they did. They concluded that there was some, like 53% of the cases that they studied did have a reaction or was diagnosed shortly after antibiotic use. And they traced 5 years history of the patient's health before the disease was diagnosed. So they can kind of see, like, oh, how many times did they take antibiotics? And it was the people that did use the most. It has a little graph. So they have like graphs and they have figures, but they really give you like proportions and percentages. And I don't know if this will help. Okay. It goes through and it, I don't know. So I really felt like I was like, oh, okay. So when they get all these tables and they go to the description and but it also says, like, this is just a precursor to really finding out. This just says that there's therefore an association was not the result of bias. Could it be due to confounding? There is known risk factors of Crohn's disease. Like, there's all these other risk factors. So they just felt like this needs to be studied further, but there's evidence that says yes, there is some basis that would support a grant funding for future studies.
Okay.
And so
postgraduate medical journal one?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that they had patients had a good reaction or a bad reaction?
53%.
Was it a good or bad reaction?
Okay, hold on. That they had a bad reaction that led to the diagnosis.
Okay.
Oh, wait. In view, potential important association with antibiotics. Okay. I'm lying to you. That if you take away all the other risk factors, because you have other things like smoking that predisposes you, and you take away all those other influences, they say antibiotics alone is 17% the cause of Crohn's disease. So not enough to conclude, but enough to say, hey, there's something here.
Yeah. That's 17%?
17% they said they could clearly say was the result of antibiotic use.
Okay.
See if I could find further.
Crohn's. Okay, so I wrote for that one, let me know if you think I summarized what you said good. Antibiotics alone is this study concluded that antibiotics alone is 17% the cause of Crohn's disease. This source had reliable information and presented it in graph data charts and summarized their studies over a period of time on multiple people. They proposed that we need to continue studying the effects of antibiotics to draw conclusions.
Okay, and so in some of that I don't understand. It just says we found statistically significant association between Crohn's disease and prior antibiotic use. This cannot be explained by recall bias, but due to lack of specificity, it is unclear whether it is causally related. So I think that they basically just, it seemed to me like what they were saying is there's definitely something there to it, but not enough to say, oh, 100% this is horrible. But it just showed that, there is some relationship to there.
Okay.
Okay, wait. Maybe I'm getting it wrong. A greater portion of cases were reported of being current smokers. Antibiotics were prescribed at least once. I think it depends because, the smokers increased their percentage rate to 71%. Okay. Sex distribution had, anyways, it just kind of, it just depends on if you were a current smoker, it increased it. If you had family history, it increased it. If you had, but it just gave a little bit more, but it just seemed like it was a little bit more scientifically based in that regards, as far as finding true information, but it still couldn't give us determination. So this other article is from the New York Times.
Okay.
From the newspaper, an article from the New York Times that they also planted. And they had, and it was a study done last year, but she just cites a bunch of different doctors and the different things that they're doing. They do have somebody skin, they have the microbiologists that they're examining the skin of 75 people with psoriasis to check their agents to, they have broader studies. This one is checking for bacteria vaginosis. And so they're studying 200 women in Idaho. And another school is doing it in Maryland to compare the results to see what they're finding, some common ground. Then there's this blood study being done at the university and another one being done. Anyway, so she just goes on to cite, but overall that they doing some studies on, it says, compared to lean mice, obese mice have 50% reduction in organisms. So they're doing studies that do support that side of the original article, saying that what you ate and you don't have enough flora in your body, you are more likely to be obese. And if you have more bugs in you, it helps break down the food, and so it gets out of your system faster. And so, in fact, this was the part I thought was disgusting, but I just had to keep it. It says that they can do bacterial transplant through fecal. They do fecal transplants on the mice, and they actually increased the. And the little fat mice started to lose weight because they had a fecal transplant.
Oh my God.
I was like, oh, that's interesting. Then it says at the bottom, the FDA has not approved the treatment for fecal transplants. Rather, it has declined to enforce the rules against using the investigational treatment for patients with C. diff infections resistance to established treatments already. So someone's already suggested, hey, let's take some healthy poop from somebody and shove it up to the sick people and stick it in their butt and see if they get better.
That's disgusting.
I know. But the FDA does not support that. But it was interesting, and they do it with mice.
Oh my gosh. Don't they with C. diff, don't they do something with your poop?
Yeah, they're like finding a zillion little microbes in there.
I thought it was C. diff or something that they put your poop back in you or something to help it or something like that. That's probably wrong. I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't heard of that. It's not something I ever. You just said C. diff in the hospital, and everyone was like,
Oh yeah.
"Those are his," because it's so hard to get rid of, though. I guess, and it really messes up your intestinal system. So I don't know. Anyways, it just basically concluded that the nutritional value of food is influenced in part by the microbial community that encounters food, and they felt like there might be some way of avoiding antibiotics when antibiotics aren't useful, to really use these microbes to figure out what's going on. That maybe they wouldn't have so many diseases and so many women on Flagyl and stuff like that. So was it the greatest one? No. Did it even address antibiotics? No, not really. But I was like, oh, it was cited really well. So I was enjoying the article, and then when it was getting to fecal transplants, I was hooked. So what do we feel about antibiotics? I just feel like there's no conclusion, and there's just so much they're still learning about out there, trying to find that perfect balance. I don't think they really know.
Yeah.
And that's why they're doing so many studies.
It's like we're putting stuff in our bodies, but we're still learning about how our bodies are working, like on a micro level.
Yeah. So here's my question. What do you think? This girl goes to Mexico. She eats fruit. She gets really sick. Do you think, flat out straight, did the antibiotic trigger the immune reaction that triggered Crohn's to come show up?
I personally don't. I think like just there isn't enough information to be like, yes, the antibiotic is what caused it. But then again, it's also like the antibiotic may have disturbed her like microgenome, so that way she was more susceptible to a disease, because while the microbiotic kind of destroys the bad bacteria, it's also disturbing the good bacteria. So I don't know, because if you think of it like that, yeah, it might have, like, I don't think the antibiotic is like, I gave her Crohn's disease, but it disrupted her bacterial level, which if Crohn's disease was rolling by, it was like her immune system's more susceptible for it because it doesn't have that good bacteria. Does that make sense? That was everywhere.
No, that kind of makes sense. I kind of thought about that too. I went back and forth but then I think it depends on if she was having issues before, maybe mild issues that weren't clearly identified, and that doesn't say much about how she was feeling before. Mm-hmm. But she goes there, and obviously she's got something more going on because she's the only one that doesn't recover.
Yeah.
Whereas the rest of the family recovers, and so that right there is a flag or a chip that obviously something else is going wrong in her system, and she can't cope with it. And then they make matters worse by introducing the antibiotic. But on the same note, like, if they didn't do something, she wasn't getting any better on her own. And it sounded like she got better, and it was, I think it was a catalyst to discovering something that was already there.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna write that. That's good.
It was the catalyst that helped reveal a dysfunction that was maybe just a little bit dormant, that triggered, I don't know, the bad bacteria kind of triggered the whole thing. And so then the antibiotics, anyways, it just turned into a big cycle, but really it just revealed what they were. Let's see. Too many of these up here already. Okay.
I'm just typing.
No, you're fine. I was just looking to read.
Can you hear me typing? My thing's probably super loud.
No, I actually don't. It's really quiet. I was thinking you can probably hear me because I have this goofy cheap keyboard that I bought on Amazon that was wireless. I could use my other screen. And it's like click, 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 click.
And when I've had to do stuff like this, like for my classes last semester, whoever was a secretary, her computer was so loud you could barely hear it. So you'd have to be like, okay, don't type. So I was like, oh, mine's not like that.
No, I totally hear you. I don't hear it at all.
Okay, good. Let's see. Okay, tell me if this sounds good at all. So we were interested in what Amelia's health history was like prior to Mexico, since she was the only family member that got Crohn's disease while taking the exact same antibiotic. We don't think the antibiotic alone caused the disease, but that it was a catalyst and helped something that may have been in her system already. The antibiotic may have disturbed her microgenome, causing her immune system to be more susceptible to getting the disease. Do you agree with that? Is that kind of like what we talked about?
Yeah. I was just looking. Yeah, I do. Sorry, I'm just like reading for the next question. I was like, oh, I don't know.
Oh, you're no worries.
No, but I think that sounds good. I think that summarizes what we were kind of saying and talking about.
Okay.
I'm going to look over here. So the last one. So this is an article. I don't even know where it's from. It says probiotics aren't the only way to restore healthy gut bacteria. So, I mean, my first thought would be go to the health food store and go buy live bacteria cultures, and you want to have them in a high number with a high variety, and not do the ones that stick in your cupboard. You want the live ones. But then I would also think, I think just food sources like, I don't know, Greek yogurt. Let's see. I'm just looking to see if there's 11 ways to restore a healthy gut bacteria. 1, go for a run, get your hands dirty, get a dog, limit traditional soap and shampoo, eat fermented food and fermentable food, limit your carbs, no sugar, consider digestive enzymes, ditch the dishwater, add in glucosamine, collagen, and zinc.
Should I just do this answer in like bullet format, you think? Or should
Yeah. I don't know. I was just reading that. I don't know if that's true, if that helps, but I don't know. Let's see. Dirty hands. Some of you may have heard of Precipitate Assist, a new soil-based probiotic that is all the rage in the functional medicine world right now. However, we may not need to get the soil-based probiotic. If we just get our hands dirty in the backyard, sometimes healthy conversations become so focused on supplements that we forget about common sense. Go outside, work in your garden, get your hands dirty will expose your system to new healthy bacteria. There is some controversy around soil-based probiotic supplements, but one strain of bacteria commonly found in dirt is Mycelium bacterium vaccae, has been linked to improved moods and stress response in some studies. Getting sunshine and regularly getting your hands dirty is an easy way to get exposed to soil-based bacteria without the need for megadose probiotics. As some of this can be dangerous for people, especially those with low immune systems. And they're like, dogs, yes, go pet dogs, go pet an 8-week-old puppy. You'll get lots and lots of germs that will benefit and improve your. So then this other one's like, wash, but don't maybe use so many antibiotic cleaning. So maybe you just use like more of a natural glisten, and then more of a natural soap, and not some of those harsh detergent antibiotic soaps, because that's just killing off stuff you're trying to get back in your system. And then I would say eat fermented food like Greek yogurt.
So if I have eat yogurt, the bacteria in the yogurt is beneficial for our digestive system. Eat healthier foods that are naturally digested in the intestines. Use a more natural soap instead of antibiotic soap because I have to finish that one. I'll say those can destroy the good bacteria that our body needs.
Yes.
Our body benefits from. What else should I say? Do you want to
They're just saying that people who hand wash their dishes, that's what a good way diversity where dishes are washed by hand. So washing dishes by hand instead of in the dishwasher exposes you to more germs and bacteria that can get on your skin.
Washing them by hand?
Washing them by hand because you're sticking them in dishwater and all that bacteria.
I just washed my dishes by hand earlier.
Yeah, but you probably had water running on it.
Yeah.
And, like some of those places, I went on my mission and I was in England, and they would get this bucket and it would be in their sink and they would put water in it and they'd wash their dishes and they just wash, and they never rinsed their dishes.
Yeah.
Trust me, I would help out afterwards, and we were just my companions, and I would always talk about don't you think they just stick their soapy, drippy dishes, like they don't never rinse them.
I've got my soap sink, and then I go over to the other one, and I just I have the water running, and I rinse it off.
Yeah, I do too. I don't let it just soak and float or whatever. I don't know, taking more vitamins and minerals in. It says limiting carbs and sugar, which is interesting. Need more raw fruits and vegetables because there's bacteria on them. So you probably have that already. More raw fruits and vegetables. Leafy greens. You can get E. coli from your spinach.
I know, I'm afraid to buy lettuce because I just heard about this outbreak. I'm are we okay up here?
I know, right?
I'm in Idaho. I don't know if you're in Idaho.
No, I'm in northern Utah, so I'm in North Ogden.
Okay, nice.
Let's see. Suffering from gut. Okay. Nevertheless, people suffering from gut issues do respond well when restricting carbs. There's a study he has a link to. Slowing the significance and decline in bacteria in small. Let's see. The problem is the levels declining. The good guys decline alongside of the bad. That's why I'm an advocate for balanced approach to carbs with more restrict approach to sugar. I didn't understand what that said really, but essentially it sounds like too much sugar in the gut kills off the good guys.
Okay, I'll type that.
So limiting the sugar, fermented, limiting soap, get your hands dirty in the garden. Go for a run. Exercise increases your microbial diversity.
Okay, exercise.
That's weird. I would never have thought. Cardio training also helps the body better metabolate fatty acids. And then it talks about for microbials that live off of fatty acids. Anyways, okay. Well, that's just one. It's called the Gene Food, Feed Your Genetics article. I don't know. You got any other ones? Do you want me to keep looking here?
Here's what I have so far. So, eat yogurt. The bacteria in the yogurt is beneficial for our digestive system. Eat healthier foods that are naturally digested in the intestines. Use a more natural soap instead of the antibiotic soap because they can destroy the good bacteria that our body benefits from. Wash your hands by hand can introduce us to more bacteria. Use the dishwasher. Taking more vitamins and minerals. Restricting carbs and sugars. Too much sugar can kill good bacteria. Raw fruits and vegetables have more natural bacteria on them. Exercise. Cardio helps the body metabolize fatty acids.
Sounds good.
Do you just want to send me that link so I can put that as a site?
Yeah. Here. Yep, I will do that. I'll have to type it out here. Dun, dun, dun.
What kind of nurse are you?
So I was a labor and delivery nurse, my whole career. And then we just moved from Kansas to Utah. And I didn't want to go back to night shift because I spent a long time there and I had just moved to day shift. And I really love day shift. And I'm too old to go back to that one. So I found a job in women's health, and I'm a nurse that works in a Wasatch OBGYN
Oh, wow.
clinic. And so, like, I take care of pregnant people. I basically just triage, and then if they come in and they need stuff, then I do IV therapy with them, and I do a couple other things.
Oh,
All
that's
right,
awesome.
let me send this to you.
I think I want to do labor and delivery.
Did you get that other one?
I got the one, yeah, of the other two I put in there already for the articles.
Okay. So I always tell people I'm not really a nurse anymore. I'm just a computer brain. They have this thing called oops, that's not what I wanted. I didn't do your email correctly. Oh darn. SDRATE 543. No, I did that wrong. 543. Okay, SGRATE 543@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll send that one there. There's lots of things like 6 steps to rebuild your Dr. Jockers. That kind of sounds weird. I suppose we could always take probiotics from the food store. So, all right, I don't know. Did we get all the questions?
I think so. Oh, I think I just got it. Sweet. So let me just put that in there. And then I'll put our names on it and just check all my spelling. And let's see. I want that.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah, I got that. Let me put that in there. Okay. And I think make sure I spell your name right at the top. It's Cinnamon, Geppelt.
Yeah.
Okay. Should I put in the note like Taylor didn't reply, or just not even put her name?
Well, I think it's Adam Taylor, to be honest. But I went back and I went over. So I sent texts and I sent emails.
Okay.
So I don't know. I mean, we did our best.
Yeah,
so yeah, let's put it just that we attempted to contact our other group member. We've emailed, we've we asked for a response, we've texted, no response.
Okay.
Because let me just double check up here. So I even double checked yesterday just to see. No, it's not that one. It's this one. So I went to class list and I went over to groups and then I went to my groups and I went to apply. And so it is Adam Taylor.
Okay.
And then me and you, and then Dr. Cormer or Sister Cormer. So I don't know. I mean, I used whatever information I could find, and I have no idea.
Okay.
We tried. I mean, he didn't even try to contact us. So
I was like, maybe he dropped. So I put our names and then put in parentheses, we emailed and texted our other group member, Adam Taylor, and never received a response.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. I think so. I'll just read over, I guess, and check all the spelling and.
Okay, sounds good.
We're good.
All right, it was nice to meet you.
Yeah.
See you for
group.
study lesson 5. I gotta go do all my reading for lesson 4 now, or whatever reading it is.
I know.
The next set is due for the next test. So I've got half of it done. I just got to do the next set of chapters, like 13 through 16 or something.
How'd the first test go? I thought it was like exactly like the study guide.
I thought so too. And I think I was so worried it was going to be so in depth, like the nursing classes that I did so long ago, that I think I overstudied and then I second guessed myself. And I don't know. Next time I take it, I'll do better. But I didn't get the grade I wanted, but it wasn't bad. If considering the highest score was 93 and I had like an 89, that's not horrible, but
yeah. Like I landed at an 85, so I was like, okay, I passed, so now I know what to do for next time.
Yeah, that's what I kind of thought. Okay, it's a lot like the study guide. I spent way too much time digging stuff out of the book.
Yeah.
just focus on the study guide. If you can understand what he's talking about on the study guide, that's as far as you need to go. And then just memorize it word for word.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not even going to read the book.
So on this next section, I felt like I needed to on the counselors, but honestly, like I would just look on his study guide till he got to like some words and then I would read just right around that section, like 3 or 4 sentences above and below. And just to make sure there wasn't anything extra. But yeah, it was. I just was disappointed that I felt like I studied so hard and dug. I can't tell you how many hours digging through and making notes. I just think I overdid it and totally missed the mark.
Oh, yeah.
So next time, there's always next time. And it wasn't a 50. Like when I saw that score, I was like, okay, so I didn't get a 53. Not that bad.
Yeah.
The highest was only a 93. So anyways, okay, I guess we better stop this broadcast then.
All right. Well, I will see you week 5 then.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Have a good one.
All right. Bye-bye.